Hello, 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 and welcome back to Sikich Live. I am your host, Mike DeGeeter, coming to you, like I said, live from the greatest city on earth, Chicago, Illinois. Go Bears, go Cubs. Our guests, Tom and Jean, will join us in just a little bit. So today's topic is all about the association industry. So if you are an association person, you are in the right place. We're going to talk a little bit about how Sikich's tried and proven implementation methodology, HEADSTART, creates timely and cost-effective enterprise resource planning implementations or your accounting software. But before we get to that, do not forget to like and subscribe to get notifications for every week's Sikich Live content. We are here every Thursday at 2:30 Central Time. Now, Sikich Live is going to look a slightly different as we have done for the past few shows here. We decided to revamp and make the experience more engaging and valuable for you, our audience, of course. So each Sikich Live show features 3 sections: fact or fiction, traditional Q&A like we've always done, and an in the news segment where we cover a specific article or content that's happening right now in the news, popular topics, and we'll discuss that article a little bit. Now, as a reminder, all Sikich Live shows are recorded and immediately available for viewing. Today, we have 2 experts within our association industry vertical at Sikich joining us to speak about accounting software that is specifically made for associations like yours. Keeping up with dues, grants, projects, changes in laws, regulations, it's all a tall order, right? So especially when you're running multiple solutions that might not communicate with each other, your ability to grow your mission depends on having solutions that are modern, unified, flexible, and intelligent. Now, here is Tom Myers, partner in charge at Sikich, and Jean Bauer, account executive within our association specialty area, joining us as our guests on Sikich Live today. Hey, Tom and Jean, how are you?
Afternoon.
Hello, Mike.
Afternoon. And Tom is from Fort Wayne, Indiana?
That's correct, Indiana.
And Jean, you are coming from?
Chicago suburbs.
Chicago suburbs, that's right. Go Chicago, like I said. Well, thanks for being with us here today. Let's dive right into our first segment, which is called Fact. Awesome. So, Tom, I'm going to throw this first fact or fiction over to you. We're going to give you a statement. You just have to say whether that is fact or fiction, and then tell us a little bit about why.
Okay.
First statement's here. Associations are digitally transforming into the cloud.
That would be fact. Yeah. And as we look at traditional applications for associations, even the related not-for-profit industry, those applications have traditionally been on-premise type applications. Now with the transformation of digital applications, Microsoft Office 365, Microsoft D365 Business Central, associations are making those upgrades to a digital cloud platform, really trying to gain ease of access to the applications, eliminating security concerns, removing that layer of complex upgrades, and really looking at also too an overall lower total cost of ownership to the association, which is obviously very important.
Yeah.
And I would just add to that, Tom, I think that everyone working from home, or a lot of people working from home or working remotely, it really enhances their benefit to get to the systems.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yep. Good point.
So many people everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Tom, I've got another fact or fiction just for you. Don't worry, Jean. I'm going to get to you in 1 second. Tom, so fact or fiction, ERP software traditionally can't track allocations.
That would be fiction. That's correct. Fiction. When we look at the an association and the finance department's ability to really track the allocation across the organization, across multiple funds. Typically, that's been a manual process at the end of the month, end of the quarter, multiple people using Excel spreadsheets to make those adjustments. When we make a head start with D365, we're going to assist with allocating across projects, grants, programs, departments, in summary, in detail. Really, we're trying to, with that automatic allocation, to really improve the budgeting and also efficiently improving that financial reporting that goes along with it.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. So, Gene, I'm going to throw this one over to you. Fact or fiction, you should only implement one solution at a time for your association.
I would say that's fiction. So we have a couple of projects going on right now with some major associations. And our association size ranges from very small to the extremely large groups. And one of the things that we find is that people come with multiple projects or goals. And so we have an association right now that we're working with that says, gosh, I do want to digitally transform. So I need Office 365. I need Microsoft D365 Business Central. I need an outsourced CIO. I need this, I need that. And so since the Sikich team can work with all of these different products, whether it be implementing or consulting or both, they actually come to us to plan, so they can help plan with the timeline, their internal resources, and what's going to work best in the order that the things need to go be implemented into a new environment in the association.
Sure.
The second group we're working with right now, and Tom, you're familiar, so you can chime in, but they came to us simply for a new ERP. And so we analyzed both Microsoft Dynamics or Microsoft D365 Business Central and also Oracle's NetSuite product. Mm-hmm. Our conclusion, since we do both products, was that it should be D365 Business Central. But as we went through that discovery and interview process, we found that really they had more than one problem. It wasn't just going to the cloud with their ERP and improving that financial management system, but a lot of their problems are really inherent with their current association management system. And for that, they were using Salesforce. Again, the Sikich team works with Salesforce.com. And so we said, let's look at both. And Mike, to your point of the implementation methodology, we typically start with what we call a business process alignment. So we're actually doing that at the same time for both association management and for the ERP, so that we can make sure we have one source of truth between the two systems, make sure we have reporting across the two systems, make sure we have integration, and really right-size that whole ship. As a phase two, then we're going to look at other systems that they have in place and see what we should be doing to move forward with those.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I appreciate you sharing a little bit about the use cases out there, because these are familiar settings and scenarios that many associations will go through in this move into the cloud, digital transformation for their association. So, Tom, I'm going to give you the very last fact or fiction question. You are locked into our chart of account structure when implementing with HEADSTART, the HEADSTART methodology that we talked about.
That would be fiction.
Oh.
You're absolutely not locked in. One of the biggest benefits of modern applications like Business Central is that ability to have a dimensional chart of accounts, and those dimensions are defined by the association. It's their choice. They're tracking funds, grants, programs, sources of income, etc. We sit down and with the association through the HEADSTART program, we help them map that out, implement that, and really plan for what that chart of account transformation may be, and really to best serve the organization long term. So definitely fiction.
Excellent. Well, thanks for running through our fact or fiction segment. Up next, we are going to move into kind of our traditional Q&A and learn a little bit more about what Head Start for Associations is. Let's start Q&A. Okay, Tom, I'm gonna push this right over to you.
Okay.
Let's start with the general stuff. We just want to know, what is Sikich Head Start for Associations?
Sure. Yeah. So that's, as we've mentioned, it's that transformation of the finance applications from traditionally on-prem to cloud. We deploy that in as little as 12 weeks. So it's a templated, fast configuration approach based upon best practices, really to allow that quicker implementation time frame without really sacrificing the benefits of the software. And that software is going to include the traditional general ledger, dimensional chart of accounts, budgeting, financial reporting, banking, fund accounting, commitments, encumbrances, integrations with AMS solutions. So we're going to put that all together, wrapped around a strong integration with Office 365 and Teams and Microsoft Excel, obviously.
Yeah. So, Gene, you talked a little bit about, at Sikich, we offer multiple different products, things like that. Why did we choose Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, or as people call it, BC, to shorten that up a little bit, as the foundation of our association solution?
Good question. So it was interesting as we started the digital transformation for our association practice and where we would head. Because we do both Oracle NetSuite and Microsoft D365 BC, we did analyze the typical requirements, though it's different by organization, of things people might need. And both of the software products check a lot of the boxes. They're both great products. We have a sizable practice in both. But some of the things that we really liked about the D365 product is that it utilizes the full Microsoft stack, right? So whether you have Office, Excel, Outlook, Power BI, it's all Microsoft. So it's all blended in. Another thing is, because so many people use some or all of those tools, it's got the Microsoft look and feel that people are used to familiar with. So ease of use comes into play. On an ongoing annual basis, which is cost is always an issue, especially in our associations and nonprofits. The actual software ongoing annual cost is at a much lower price point than that of our NetSuite offerings. The other thing, from a price standpoint, Microsoft and Microsoft Dynamics GP has been in the association world for over 20 years. So there's a large volume of associations moving from that product to D365 BC. And Microsoft is helping by offering promotions on the software cost to help make it easier in that transition to the cloud. The other thing I would say is Microsoft offers some great integration tools. And has such a large following. D365 BC is the highest sold ERP in the world. And so the number of independent software products that is out there is just amazing, and available to view on the Microsoft App Source.
Yeah. I mean, Microsoft isn't going anywhere, right? And this is a product that they are putting tons of research and development into, and like everything you said, Gene, it's a safe bet, I think. Absolutely.
It is that, along with the Sikich implementation methodology.
Yeah.
It really makes it a much lower risk than implementations years and years ago. Sure.
So, Gene, and this is my last question within our Q&A segment here. So, you work with a lot of associations, a lot of people. You're constantly in this industry and understanding, what they're going through. Can you tell us a little bit about what they're asking you for regarding technology solutions and what current pain points are?
Yeah, I think one of the changes that I've seen is that, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, we had a lot of islands, right? Finance owns the ERP. membership might own the association management, et cetera, et cetera. And I think nowadays we're seeing more collaboration between the different groups. And so looking at that whole ship is very important. And that ship might include, in addition to the software components, it might include pain points around, and I think Tom mentioned this, chart of accounts, and how do I go from the traditional linear chart of accounts to a dimensional chart of accounts. They're looking to improve efficiencies with the software, whether that efficiency comes through better reporting, better integration of their systems, or review of systems that they haven't really changed in years and years. So I think it's becoming more of a turnkey, well thought out plan strategy as they move forward.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Tom and Jane, for answering our Q&A segment. We're going to move into our In the News segment now, where we're going to talk a little bit about a current article that's happening right now, today, that people are interested in possibly reading, and then we'll ask you a quick question about it. Let's start in the news. Okay, so our article here today is from associationsnow.com, and it's how to avoid cybersecurity headaches at your association. So one thing after reading through this article, I thought we would ask is, can you talk a little bit about the importance of cybersecurity within association organizations? And even a follow-up to that, how can Sikich cybersecurity help?
Yep. Yeah, it's a great article, and it's a very timely and mission critical component to any business, any organization, and certainly an association. When you look at pre-COVID, we would get together, especially the board of an association would get together, and as they got together, they'd pass out, here are all the documents, here are the financial statements, here's our review for the month or the quarter, and they would print those out. And so security was pretty limited, obviously. But as you look at post-pandemic, post-COVID, with the effect of work from home, work remotely, et cetera, the security policy of every organization, including association, has to be looked at. So the first thing is documenting and reviewing that policy. What do we have in place? The second piece of that, obviously, is using a company or organization or association based email. If you sit on the board, that's great. Let's try to avoid using everybody's personal email. It allows us to have a little bit better control. And then finally, those security layers that are from a technology standpoint, whether it's multi-factor authentication or SSO, single sign-on, all of those have to be looked at to really improve the security layer of the association. As far as your second point, certainly Sikich has a full security division that can help with all of those, from documentation to policies, from testing, and certainly from a technology standpoint, multi-factor and single sign-on.
And Tom, I would just add to that as a part, even if we're just engaging for Microsoft D365 BC financial systems, we still put in our engagement a security component. It's not the full component of looking at everything, but a lot of the people who are moving to the cloud really need to rethink what they're doing in that area. So it is a standard part of our engagement.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and really the last piece of that too, which is moving from an on-prem solution to a cloud-based solution, where many of those technology pieces are given and managed, in this case by Microsoft. That improves the security framework and the security right away, just by making that simple move, because Microsoft now is managing that security layer. So that move to the cloud, in this case D365 Business Central for Microsoft, that move alone improves your security framework.
Absolutely. Well, Really appreciate your time today. That is all the questions that I have for you today. Thanks for telling us a little bit more about associations and the Head Start methodology from Sikich.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mike.
Absolutely. See you later. So if anybody has any further questions, please feel free. I know Gene and Tom would absolutely welcome anyone to reach out directly on LinkedIn. You can also email us at info@sikich.com. Just put Sikich Live in the subject line. We're happy to help from there. You can also visit us at www.sikich.com to learn more. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to be back next week, Thursday at 2:30 Central Time, this time pivoting to why Microsoft for manufacturers. Looking forward to that, and we'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.